believe I almost forgot my mic. Hello, everybody. How you doing? Welcome, everybody. Welcome to Mental Health Monday. Merry Christmas, everybody. Happy New Year. Happy Hanukkah. All the holidays anybody wants to celebrate right now. This is a really joyous time of the year for many of us. It is not joyous for all of us. I think the holidays is a wonderful time for some people and not so great of a time for others. But today we are going to talk about what affects many of us today, and that is seasonal affective disorder. And we're going to talk about here with my wonderful guest, Renata Weatherspoon. And we're going to have a conversation about seasonal affective disorder. We're going to talk about the causes, the symptoms, and its impact on our mental health. Who knew not having the sun would have this effect on us? And seasonal affective disorder, just to let you know what it is, it differs from other types of depression. It is connected to not being in the sun, having the times of the month when the sunlight, the times of the year when the daylight shrinks down, like winter solstice. We're now in the winter solstice and we don't get as much sun as we used to. And that's why I'm kind of light and bright right now. I can't have no sun. But and some of the common symptoms is low energy, sadness. Sometimes we oversleep. Sometimes we gain a little weight. We kind of hibernate for the winter, but it can also have an effect on our mental health. So joining me here today to help me talk about is Renata Weatherspoon. Oh my goodness, she is a board certified psychiatric mental health professional. Hello. She's got her doctorate recently. So she's Dr. Renata in healthcare administration. What? And she, like myself, we spent time. I'm a medical social worker, so I spend time working in hospitals and ERs, and so has Dr. Renata. And so welcome, Dr. Renata. How you doing?
I am fine. Thank you so much for having me.
Yes. And so everybody who's joining me, y'all in the chat, do you guys know what seasonal affective disorder is? How do y'all feel in the wintertime? Do you notice a change in your mood? Sometimes in the winter. Hey, Carl Brock, how you doing? Welcome, Carl. Everybody say hello to Carl.
Hi,
and
Carl.
Carl, let us know, do you ever feel different in the winter months? Have you noticed some other people around you can be just kind of blah in the winter? I know when I look outside today in particular, and I'm in Illinois, the sun is gray. The whole sky is gray. I don't even see the sun. And I'm just kind of like, it makes me feel kind of sad and reflective. Hey, Deborah, how you doing? Deborah says hello. So let's ask our guest. Yes, let's ask our guest, Renata, Dr. Renata. What happens? Do you feel a change in your mood? And tell us about your experience with seasonal affective disorder.
So with seasonal affective disorder, I do notice a change in my mood. It's not as drastic as some people, but I do notice a significant change in my mood when the wintertime comes, particularly daylight saving time. Here where I'm located at in the southern states, as soon as daylight time hits, we get dark at about 5:30. So we get pretty dark, and that's pretty early, right? So normally around that time, I'm usually at the park with my daughter doing some outdoor activity, but by it getting so dark so early, we're kind of hurrying up to get inside. So we do notice that we have a change in mood. It's kind of like, it's not like really a sadness for us, but it's just, we're not as upbeat as we would normally be during the summertime, because we're indoors a lot more often than in the wintertime than what we are outside in the summertime. So it's definitely a noticeable change.
Oh, I hear you, Renata. I know for myself, I like to Netflix and chill, but it's something about the winter months. I just really don't feel like going anywhere. And if it's nice and sunny outside, it makes me want to go outside more. It makes me want to interact with people more. And I just feel like I'm hibernating. But that is different from actual seasonal affective disorder. How is just a normal wanting to just go inside different from actual seasonal affective disorder, and how it is, a clinical term used to describe a very unique experience for people?
So you have just basically the winter blues, and then you have seasonal affective disorder. With the winter blues, you might have a low mood, but you're still engaging with people. You're still being social. You're still doing things that you would do on a normal day-to-day basis, right? But with seasonal affective disorder, it's a clinical syndrome, right? It's a subtype of depression to where the onset is usually in fall or early winter. And it's due to the season changing, and the daylight saving time is usually the onset, because you get that period of time where it gets darker earlier. So you have to, like you said, it's kind of sort of like hibernating. It gets really cold and people want to stay inside, and the sun's just not out that much as opposed to summertime. So with seasonal affective disorder, you're going to notice some changes in your mood. And that's the cardinal symptom, right? You're going to feel a little low as far as feeling depressed. And you're going to notice some other changes, such as not being, excessive sleeping, excessive eating, not really having too much energy, and social isolation. So not wanting to really interact too much as you would normally interact.
Oh, thank you for that. I mean, I noticed I'm a clinician and you're still a clinician, right? And I just noticed my census is up. I get way more clients in the winter months, and magically, everybody gets better in the summer. It's like all of this happens, people get better. And I'm really curious, if we got Christmas coming, and this in a few days, and there's so many people who see this as a time of the year where it's not as exciting, it's not as fun. How do we distinguish memories and thoughts related to the holidays versus an actual seasonal affective disorder? Like, it's so hard. I'm just thinking about some of the cases that I've worked with, that as a person experiencing this, they're like, wait, I know about the regular winter blues. I know there's seasonal affective disorder. And then we have the holidays. You're expected to spend so much money on things. And then those bills start coming in. And it's almost just like all of these different factors are just compounded and related to each other. What do you recommend that, even us with winter blues, what do you recommend we do when we are trying to figure out, I'm not feeling quite myself. I have this seasonal affective disorder?
So one thing that you can, the best thing that you can do is acknowledge how you feel, and know that it's okay to feel how you feel, but just don't get stuck in it. We know with holidays, there's an extreme amount of pressure to buy gifts and to just do things that causes a lot of financial strain on top of the emotional and mental strain that we have already experienced and with the seasonal affective disorder, right? So don't add too much pressure to yourself. You're not obligated to buy anybody any gifts. So don't put that added stressor on yourself. Take time out for you. If you have if you really in a mood where you don't want to be bothered, take some time and do something that really makes you feel better. Whether that's journaling, whether that's sitting, just getting outside and getting into the sun, whether it's calling a friend, whether it's looking at a Netflix movie that brightens up your day. Just take some time for you. Like I said, it's okay to not be okay, but don't be stuck not being okay.
Yeah, and it's funny. I like how you're talking about acknowledging it and not pathologizing yourself, that we're human, and not putting this pressure, unneeded pressure on yourself. How many of y'all stressed out over making sure you got the Christmas gifts, and you're wrapping everything up and everything needs to be, just so, and you put this pressure, really you're putting it on yourself because chances are the people want to be around you because they love you. They don't care if they get a gift or not. And it's a good time to be reflective and thoughtful. You don't have to spend a bunch of money on a gift. And I think that, sometimes our society and expectations that we feel like we have to have is unrealistic. And I call it a little distorted. Like, who told you that you need to do this? Why are you taking on these responsibilities that you do not have to take on? And sometimes it's your perception of what you think people want from you, when really just being around family and friends can actually make a difference. So other than, making yourself feel better, other than being around family and friends, what would you recommend? What else would you recommend for someone who is experiencing symptoms of seasonal affective disorder? Because we're not diagnosing you or anybody, but we're just talking about whether you can see it in yourself, some of the symptoms.
So one of the things that you can do that's relatively simple that I tell all of my patients is open the curtains, open the blinds. That's something relatively easy. Open the curtains, open the blinds. You want to get that sunlight. With seasonal affective disorder, there's evidence that shows individuals who have seasonal affective disorder has vitamin D deficiency. So we know with the sun, the sun is the main source of vitamin D. So by us not going out in the sun during the winter months because we're staying inside, we're hibernating, it's cold, we want to Netflix and chill, and we are on our phones, we don't get that direct sunlight. So when we don't get that direct sunlight, it decreases the vitamin D levels that we have in our bodies. And vitamin D is directly associated to mood. So low vitamin D levels can look like depression. So you want to get out and you want to get some sunlight. So vitamin D is very important. You want to check your levels, get with a primary care provider or get with your provider and assess your vitamin D levels. And something simple as getting a vitamin D supplement can help you feel better. So doing something simple, just like opening the blinds, opening the curtains, and just stepping outside in the sun for a few minutes a day will help you feel better. The sun releases endorphins. Endorphins are our body natural mood enhancers. So vitamin D, the direct sunlight we get from the vitamin D that we get from the sunlight is going to help us feel better naturally, right? Because we're getting the release of those endorphins.
Oh my God. Listen, do y'all hear what Dr. Renata is saying? Y'all, everybody, if you want to know, I forgot, I got to mention this. If you want to know when I go live to talk about these are jewels. Text the word love, LOVE, to 87948 and you'll get this information. Do y'all listen? Do y'all guys hear this? Here's the thing. This is something that doesn't cost you anything. Opening up your blinds. It's free. That's free.com. Talking to your friends. It don't cost nothing no more to make a phone call to your friends. Let me tell you, a third thing, maybe you got to get up and go to CVS, or we're not sponsored by CVS, but we'll take sponsorships if CVS wants to. All you got to do is take some vitamin D3, like Deborah. Deborah says she takes more vitamin D3. Yep. That's simple. That doesn't cost, that's less than $10 to take vitamin D3. What we're saying to you is that you have control over your own mood. You can take responsibility for how you want to live your life. Opening the curtains, taking vitamin D, talking to people who love you and support you, creating what I would call safe spaces, creating safe spaces with wonderful people. That's all you have to do. Oh my God, Tara is living in Florida.
Oh, I'm jealous.
In Florida. You know, Tara,
jealous. I am jealous.
I'm done with you, Tara. I used to live in Florida. That's where I got my doctorate, is at Florida State. And I will tell you, I needed to be, when I was getting my doctorate, it was so painful. I needed to be in a nice, warm, sunny place because I don't know how I would have done it. But yes, Florida is actually awesome and very sunny. But and we black people don't absorb vitamin D like everybody else, and so we need a little more vitamin D. Can you speak to vitamin D absorption and among African American group?
So we have this thing called melatonin. And so when we do go out in the sun, we have to stay in the sun a little longer than other ethnicities. So when we go out, we want to stand in the direct sun. When it gets too hot, you can take a break from the sun, but we want to make sure we stand in that direct sunlight to increase the absorption, because it is a little bit harder for us African Americans to absorb vitamin D from the sun because of the melatonin that we have.
Thank you. And I don't have as much melatonin as most people do. As all of us do, but it makes a difference. I know. So if you're more darker skin, you probably do need a little more vitamin D. And of course, as Dr. Renata, she's a nurse. You're a nurse. Your background is in nursing. I'm a nurse
practitioner. And I wanted to say, I'm saying melatonin, but I meant to say melanin, not melatonin. Melanin, yes. Not melatonin. Melatonin is what makes you sleep. So yes. Melanin. Our skin tone, the melanin in our skin makes vitamin D a little bit harder for us to absorb. So we want to stand in the direct sun until it gets a little bit unbearable. We don't want to get sunburn or suntan, but we want to stand in there for about 10 to 20 minutes and make sure we get that direct sunlight to increase and enhance our vitamin D levels.
That's right. So these are simple things that we can do. And I know you are a nurse practitioner, and I don't have that medical background that you have, but have you looked into whether there's any other advancements in research and treatment for seasonal affective disorder that you've come across that you think will also be helpful for us to know?
Sure. So there are some lamps specifically for seasonal affective disorder. They call them light box. And what that does is it mimics the natural sunlight. So not only does it increase the vitamin D levels, but it also increases the serotonin levels. With serotonin, it's directly related to your mood as well. We know decreased serotonin puts us at an increased risk for depression. So the lamp therapy and the light therapy, what that does is that boosts the serotonin, thus increasing the mood. So the lamps, they are very inexpensive. They have a few on Amazon. They start off at like $19.99.
$19.99. That's cheap. That don't cost much of anything. And I love this because the serotonin levels, when it decreases, that's what makes you sad. Mm-hmm. And feeling sad makes you think negative thoughts. Yep. And the negative thoughts has an effect on your behavior because you're not going to want to interact with anybody. You're going to say, nobody likes me. No one is there. And I'm not going to call them back, or I'm not going to send them a text message. You start having distortions in your thinking. And it is all because of a chemical in your brain. Mm-hmm. It's this science. Science gives us, I love science. I love medical advances that have been able to pinpoint what happens in the winter months. So in addition to taking vitamin D, in addition to getting your vitamin D levels checked by a medical professional, you can ask for that. They'll give it to you. Being out in the sun, opening those curtains. You can also get a lamp that is $19.95. Y'all put that on your Christmas list, and maybe Santa will come bring you. One of those lamps that can mimic the sunlight, and you can use that around you so that you can take it. You can take responsibility for your mental health and making sure that you show up for your family. Like, a lot of us don't live alone. We're right. Married, we're spouses, we're moms, we're children. We have responsibilities to our work. We have responsibilities to our loved ones to make sure that we show up and we can create these environments in which we can be appreciative and grateful of everything that we have around us. And sometimes we aren't able to do that. So, hey, everybody, we are here talking about seasonal depression, clinically known as seasonal affective disorder. And we're talking about finding hope in the darkest days. And I got to say, this weekend was the winter solstice. So these were the darkest days of the year. And it's happening. It happens every single year. And Gary Hatcher wants to know what type of lamp.
So I'm going to drop it in the chat for you.
Okay. Drop it in the chat.
It's a light therapy lamp. It has to have 10,000 lux. It has to be a 10,000 lux therapy light. So I'm going to drop it in the chat for you. 10, and this one is $19.99.
Okay. Look at this. We should have got some sponsorships, Dr. Renata. What's going on? CVS can sponsor me if they want to, or Walgreens or whatever, or Rite Aid. Anybody know some sponsorships? We're taking sponsorships. But anyway, while she puts this in the chat, I just want to say hello, everybody, for joining us. We are talking about seasonal depression. We are explaining it. You got two licensed professionals here to talk about mental health, and we are finding hope in these dark days. Deborah is talking about how she is working out.
Yes, moving. And that's what I wanted to add. Exercise and staying active will also boost your mood because it will give you more energy. A lot of people say, oh, I don't want to work out. I get so tired. Well, exercise actually boosts your energy, and a boost in energy boosts your mood. So staying active can also boost your mood and help you deal with symptoms of seasonal affective disorder. And Deborah, I know that line dancing class is fun.
Yeah. Well, listen, I know y'all can tell Dr. Renata's from New Orleans.
I am.
There's a lot of line dancing down there. I know I partied in New Orleans. Oh my Lord. I partied hard in New Orleans. Okay, and so Black Lexicon has a question. He says, what Kelvin level and color spectrum is the light? Let me tell you, Black Lexicon is on Amazon trying to buy this thing. So
I would have to, I don't know that exact answer to that specific question. I would have to go look in the description and let you know.
Usually I find that I'm putting it in there. I'm putting it in here. Light therapy from Amazon. The link is in there, and we are not sponsored by this. So, but if anybody wants to sponsor us, you can. We are not sponsored by this. We're just professionals who understand that this light therapy can mimic the sunlight. It has to be at least 10,000 lux. And typically, if you go on Amazon, it'll tell you.
It'll tell you the specifics.
Yeah, this is for seasonal affective disorder. And that's how many people get it. Let me go over some information, some stats. Let's see what we have. According to the National Institute of Mental Health, up to 0.5% to 3% of the general population is affected by seasonal affective disorder. 10 to 20% of individuals with major depression disorder and 25% of those with bipolar disorder experience seasonal patterns of their mood disturbances. There's also gender disparities. According to research from Boston University, women are 4 times more likely to be diagnosed with seasonal affective disorder than men, probably because women we complain more and we probably in tune more. I don't know what. We'll make some assumptions there. Also, of course, geographical, the prevalence of seasonal affective disorder in North America varies by latitude. Not too many people in Florida, but New Hampshire. I don't know too many Black people live in New Hampshire, but I'm sure we everywhere. But 9% of people in New Hampshire have seasonal affective disorder. Children, according to a study of the Journal of the American Academy of Child and Adolescent Psychiatry, Between 1.7 and 5.5% of children aged 9 to 19 also experience seasonal affective disorder. These are teenagers and kids that don't want to get out of bed. They don't want to go to school. They're tired. Their energy level is down, and they don't have enough vitamin D in their body, and you need that. So come on, we got to be easy on our children. We need to know if they're tired and they're not wanting to hang out and they're not as upbeat as normal, it could possibly be seasonal affective disorder. We already talked about light therapy. Light therapy can be shown to be effective. 85% of individuals diagnosed with seasonal affective disorder, 85%.
85%. And can I speak on the kids right quick?
Please speak on the kids. Speak on the
children. So we know kids growing up now are totally different from how we grew up. So when we grew up, we used to go outside. Our parents used to make us go outside, right? Now we have this social media where our kids are just on it all day. So that's another reason why we see seasonal affective disorder is more prevalent in kids, because they're not going outside because of social media and just this digital world that these kids have become accustomed to. So it's important for kids to do a digital detox. So get them off the phones, get them off the computer, and get them outside, get them playing soccer, get them playing jump rope, hopscotch. Just get them out and get them more active so they can get that natural sunlight and boost those vitamin D levels up, because vitamin D in kids can look like depression. It also can look like ADHD as well. So be mindful with that and have the pediatricians monitor the vitamin D levels and see if you can get that supplementation if there is a vitamin D deficiency, because that is something that can be corrected with a simple vitamin D tablet or a liquid.
Yeah, and we got to get our kids outdoors. Even though it's cold outside, they can put a coat on. By the way, none of my kids wear coats. It'd be 20 degrees outside, and they're just going out in a hoodie. What is this? I don't know what that is. But you could get them bundled up and get them outside and active. So not only are you getting vitamin D from the sun, but these kids are moving. They're feeling good. Their serotonin level is up. And hey, I live in Illinois, so I know the winter is coming and the snow is coming. Get out there and go sledding. Have some fun in the snow. Some of my best memories as a child was just walking around in a snowsuit, just getting cold, having snowball fights and playing with my friends. And the cell phone, I didn't even have a cell phone in college. That's how old I am. I just can't believe it. So you guys, the world is changing and we have to figure out how we can adjust to the changes that's happening, because we can't stop it. There's no going back to how things are. We have to accept and embrace change, but then we have to understand how we can adjust to the inevitable change. And part of this is having some time where we're putting down our phones, all of us, parents, mamas, and daddies. Go outside with your child. Go for a walk.
And it's bonding time. It's bonding time. So you get to talk about your kids, find out how their day was, find out what's going on with them and their friends. So it's a win-win.
We're taking a holistic approach here.
It's a win-win. And just to circle back on women at an increased rate for seasonal affective disorder, and I think the simple explanation for that is because of all of the hormonal changes we go through. We have the menstrual cycles, we have pregnancy, we have menopause. All of that has a direct effect on serotonin levels. And we know serotonin levels can be decreased in individuals who have seasonal affective disorder. So that's why women are more prevalent to get the seasonal affective disorder symptoms, because of our hormonal levels.
And then on top of it, it's a lot on us as women.
Yes, like we do feel the pressures.
Women and mothers, we carry on quite a bit. I find that women absorb the emotional burden of everybody in the house. We take on and we pick up and we carry on all of the emotional things that are happening within a family. That we hold on to a lot of that stuff because we're helping everybody else out.
We're helping everybody else. Wow.
On top of all these other biological changes.
Yep. So that's the explanation. That is the clear-cut, dry explanation for why women are more prevalent to seasonal affective disorder.
Yes, Carl, we know men affect, but I like to look at facts. That we are explaining as professionals, why is it that women are 4 times more likely to be diagnosed with seasonal affective disorder than men? We're not making it up in our head. We are licensed. I'm a licensed therapist. Dr. Renata is a board certified. We're not talking off of the top of our head from experience. This is evidence-based information that you're getting. We know men suffer.
Yes, men
we
can
know
get seasonal affective disorder. We are not taking that.
Acknowledging that women have unique sufferings does not diminish men. When we talk about the unique challenges that women have, how do people think that it somehow takes away from what men have? It comes across, Carl, disrespectful. It comes across like you're diminishing the real experiences of women. Most of my clients are men, so I understand. But we're explaining the gender disparities here. All right, let's move on. But thank you for the comment. We love you, Carl. But I want to make that clear. I just want to make that clear. Lots of love for you. We want to make that clear. Anyway, let's move on. So anything else you want to say about gender differences, gender disparity?
I think I nailed it.
You think you nailed it? I just wanted to add some more color to it because these are the things that I think that we say to each other and that we do to each other. And I think we don't want to have this energy where we're diminishing and devaluing someone's real experience and being able to speak up. And to be able to talk about it and to be able to voice things without it being, okay, well, what is it for this person? And what is it for that? It's like it comes across as, let's validate this real experience for children. You know, children are vulnerable. Women are a vulnerable group in a lot of different ways because of the biological things that are happening with women that are unique to women. Okay.
Yeah, it does sound a little insensitive, Carl, but we love you.
We love you. Doctor said he'd take vitamin D pills. Yes, Gary Hatcher. Oh my God, the guy named Hatcher was mayor of Gary. So when you say Gary Hatcher, it reminds me of that. But anyway, hello everybody. Welcome. Seasonal affective depression explained. We are finding hope in the darkest of days. We have talked about all the different ways in which you can recognize this in yourself. But if you know that you have other people who are affected by seasonal affective disorder, please make sure that you like and you share and you comment. Yes, I know, Carl, we love you. She's just asking questions. And there's some other people who self-disclosed, like David. David is a gentleman, and he said he's been going through a lot of anxiety and depression. Thank you for sharing. And that he find ways to cope, like exercising, like stated in like artwork.
Artwork is a really good form of therapy. It really is. Artwork, music therapy, I encourage all of that because that is a unique form of expression, and it does help you focus on what the canvas that you have in front of you, as opposed to being so directed with other negative thoughts. You're really focusing on the piece that you have in front of you. So it kind of works as a thought deterrent. So I definitely encourage artwork. Music therapy is also a good one as well.
Yeah, I mean, I think being creative and looking at our creative side makes you feel really good. And
Mhm.
sharing that creativity, men can sometimes, or I can, I get real self-conscious about my creative side when I do some artwork and I get people, artists are sensitive. So when
They
they get
are
into
about their
that,
craft.
but it's beautiful to be able to share what you've learned, and you'll be surprised how much you inspire other people
Yeah.
and how you can create a community that inspires creativity. Because a lot of times, like sometimes I have my job, the things that I do where I'm teaching and I'm grading papers, I don't always have the outlet that I really want to be able to be as creative as I want. And it makes me feel really balanced. I'm balancing literally my left brain and right brain, and it
Mhm.
makes me feel good.
Yeah, and I'm so glad that he brought up artwork, and we're talking about creativity, because another thing that comes to my mind is getting into the holiday spirit. Something so simple as decorating a Christmas tree or throwing up some lights can definitely change your mood and put you more in the spirit and take you out of such negative thoughts that's associated with seasonal affective disorder. Even getting a lighter color blanket or painting a wall a lighter color, things like that can help enhance your mood.
Yeah, this is what's called self-care, and self-care
Mm-hmm.
is self-love. And it works that way. It's kind of like one little thing that you do, like getting up in the morning and saying, I'm going to open these blinds. It's a domino effect because it
Yeah.
makes you go, I think I'm going to go outside and grab
Mm-hmm.
the newspaper. Or if anyone gets a newspaper, grab the mail. My mailbox is across the street. So I got to walk over there and grab the mail, and then you end up talking to a neighbor and you end up sharing things. And it just helps you get out of our shell, out of our houses and into the world just by one step. Or going out, instead of buying it on Amazon, maybe going to Walmart. We're not sponsored by Walmart, but
Dollar
going to
General, Dollar
Walmart
Tree.
and getting out and moving around and spending time with people. Who said Nurse Ratchet? Nurse Ratchet allows me to do puzzles only when I'm nice to other people. This is, I'm sorry, that is hilarious, by the way. One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest. That's the reference for that movie. Thank you. Whoever 2025 Pearl Sange. Anyway, y'all, you hilarious. But yeah, comedy, making laughing, having fun with people. It just instantly increases your mood. And I know I talked about this before, but we've now given you a whole list. We've given you a list of things to do. If you know somebody who has seasonal affective disorder and are affected by the blues, the winter blues, here are some things you can go out and get them for Christmas. Number one, a 10,000 lux light therapy. The link is in the chat, you guys. Let me see if I can put it in here again. The link is in the chat of where you can get light therapy. It costs $19.99. It's not that expensive. You can get that. Going outside, feeling better, taking vitamin D, talking to your primary care physician so that they can take some blood work and see if you are deficient, because Black folks, we need more vitamin D than most to absorb. We talked about artwork and music therapy, being around people who are confirming to you. Children need to put the cell phones down and get out and move around. And as we talked about, all of us need to move so we can move with our children. We talked about gender disparities with seasonal affective disorder. Women are 4 times as likely. So there's an interaction between a chemical happening when our serotonin levels dip, but also we got menopause, we have menstruation cycles, we have all of these hormonal changes happening as well. And before we wrap up for the night, could Dr. Renata let everybody know where to find you? Any last thoughts that you have about seasonal affective disorder?
So my last thought for seasonal affective disorder is, if you are dealing with seasonal affective disorder, or you know someone who is dealing with seasonal affective disorder, let's give each other some grace. Let's be patient And let's be positive. I also want to encourage you all to educate yourselves. There's a lot of resources out here to educate yourselves so you can be a support for yourself and others. And if you are experiencing seasonal affective disorder and the symptoms seems to persist and the symptoms get a little worse, don't be afraid to reach out for help. So if you notice your mood just getting you're just getting more and more depressed, you can't get out of bed, your appetite is fluctuating, you're eating a little bit more, you're not eating enough, and you just feel like you just have thoughts of wanting to hurt yourself, that is when you need to seek help. Okay, so don't be afraid to reach out. There's a lot of resources out there. There's National Alliance for the Mentally Ill, that's NAMI. You can reach out to them. Also, I just want to tell everyone to just be a little kinder to people, especially during this time, because we never know what people are going through. Like I said, there's a lot of financial strain on individuals. There's people experiencing grief. A lot of times we lose some loved ones, and when holiday comes up, we kind of long for that person to be present with us. So it's a lot that people can be going through during this time. So just be a little patient. I also want to say that journaling is helpful as well. I have created a workbook. It's called Wrong Thoughts, Right Notebook. And in this journal, there are daily prompts and daily exercises for you to go through and identify negative thoughts and do all kind of exercises to change those negative thoughts into positive thoughts. So I am going to drop the link in the chat for this journal.
I just dropped it in there. Thank you so much. Y'all get this journal with Dr. Renata. Dr. Renata Weatherspoon put this together, and it is a journal to help you. All you got to do is click on it and go and download her journal. Buy this journal. This is so important. And I just want to thank you so much, Dr. Renata. I got to have you back on. Look at Carl. Carl's asking about ADHD, children with ADHD. Sometimes we just talked about children with ADHD. It really could be a vitamin deficiency, vitamin D deficiency, seasonal affective disorder. Sometimes it looks like it could be ADHD. So it's definitely important to see a professional. Thank you, Carl. And sorry, I didn't want to come down on you hard, Carl, but I want to give women, I do want to give women their space to be. It's important for all of us to give each other the compassion that we need. And we have to be mindful. Thank you, Parrish. Mental Health Awareness USA. Yes, happy holidays.
That's another resource. Thank you so much.
Yes, let me put it up here. Another resource up there for everybody. And also, to know when we talk about these things, you can text the word love to 87948 and you'll get notified. People will get notified about when I go live. And I want to say Merry Christmas to everybody.
Merry Christmas. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year. Everything, no matter where you are in control of your mental health. You deserve it. You are in control of your self-care. Self-care is self-love. Put that Christmas tree up. I know. Don't come down on me. I know it's a pagan ritual. I know, but you know what? The Christmas lights are beautiful, and it's going to help you feel better. I know. Don't tell me. I know, but it's going to make you feel good, and I can't wait to celebrate Christmas with my family. And waiting on my hubby. My hubby's coming home soon. He's been out and about visiting some of his relatives, but he's coming home. And we're going to hang together and enjoy each other. So y'all make sure y'all enjoy each other. Make sure you text the word love to 87948. And especially make sure you go and get Dr. Renata's workbook here about your thoughts. Yes. Oh, and then I don't want to forget. Let's not forget. Follow me on Instagram, please. Coaching with Dr. Alicia. And if you want to work with me, of course. And I got a team of people. I got a team of therapists that I work with. coachingwithdralicia.com. Y'all go there. You feeling the blues and nothing that we're saying seems to pull you out of this sadness, you can come and talk to me. I will make sure I link you up with some professionals in your area. And also, if you're in the New Orleans, Louisiana area, you make sure you reach out to Renata Weatherspoon Weatherspoon. And
yes, that's my website right there, advancedpracticeconsult.com.
advancedpracticeconsult.com.
Yes, you could just fill out a contact us form and we will get back with you.
Contact us form. Y'all can reach out to her. And I just want to thank you for coming on. I'm happy back on. We're going to talk about all sorts of stuff. I need a nurse. I need a nurse practitioner on here so that we can talk about some medical stuff. And so anyway, goodbye, everybody. Thank you, Gary. Thank you, Deborah. Thank you, David. Thank you for disclosing. Carl, hang in there, Carl. Thank you, Parrish. Thank you, everybody. I appreciate it. Merry Christmas. Happy New Year. I'll be back Monday, though. I'll be saying Happy New Year to everybody by then. Okay. Bye, everyone.